they paired us up, and then we shot to try to see who won. And we thought that we were going to win, but we had some issues.
Yeah,
like,
we did.
I know.
I had some issues. All right, everybody. So great to be back with all of you. We have really missed talking,
sharing,
seeing, hearing from you. We've missed all of that.
Yeah.
I missed all of that. And if you're new to the show, we have some amazing episodes. We've been doing this for about 106, 107 episodes now.
That's a lot.
I know, it's a long time. We've been doing this for a long time. We love it. Have had some really amazing guests on. So one guest we're gonna talk about today, if you go back and listen to episode 47, it is with Karen Hunter. We had Karen on the show because Karen is a trailblazer in the firearm industry. Yes. We love having other women who have wanted to make changes, who are very knowledgeable, very passionate about getting women into not only the shooting sports, but actually moving from that and getting into the side of firearms where, you know, they're actually thinking about it in terms of self-defense and safety. Because believe it or not every hunter carries a firearm. Not every professional shooter carries a firearm.
I mean, I think that's one of those things you don't realize.
You don't realize that. I think everyone thinks, okay, if you own a gun,
you're carrying it.
Every gun owner thinks the same way, is the same way, just like not every person who concealed carries hunts.
Right.
You know, there's these segments throughout the industry that as you really kind of start figuring out how this firearm is going to fit into your lifestyle, you start identifying with like several groups throughout the industry. So what Karen has been amazing. Karen has been one of the biggest supporters of Style Tactical, of Alexo, of really all things women in the industry for a very long time. And she's a badass. I mean, she has written for every major firearm publication out there. And she's very respected in the industry. So we wanted to have her on episode 47 to talk about her experience with that, to inspire some women who may want to be trying to get into this industry and figure out where they could fit and what they could do. And that was just a wealth of knowledge in that episode. So go check out Karen Hunter's episode 47. The reason why we're bringing that up today, because Karen Hunter has been a part of our life and is still a big part of your life, of my life. Yep. And Karen put together probably one of the coolest events that I've been a part of ever.
Yeah, it's one of those because I don't think she's writing anymore. She now works for SecureIT.
Yes.
So as part of her move to SecureIT, which is a company that makes firearm safes, like storage safes, which are great, by the way. But she wanted to, as part of like everything that you just talked about, her wanting to bring women together and build this community, she wanted to put together an event, all-women event, as an inaugural event to bring women together who share the same passions, to get them gun training, and not just like any gun training, like legit, like some of the best.
This was women of all experience levels. Like so when we originally got reached out, she sent us an email, I don't even remember how long ago, just throwing the idea out there, like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I want to inspire women to, you know, meet other women, first off, support each other, women that support each other, that are looking to further their experience with firearms, no matter what their level was. And she's like, I want to ask women who've never touched a firearm all the way to
experienced
trainers, you know, and we're like, how are you going to put an event together that is meaningful to all of those groups? And she was like, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And so this is where, you know, this comes in. So she got to work and she started working with SecureIT. And finally, I mean, I guess it was like months later that she reached back. I was like, okay,
just got to figure it out. This is what we're going to do.
Yes.
This is who we're inviting.
So she put together this entire sponsor, like she had some amazing sponsors get pulled in together to pull this off. Really.
Right. We had sponsors. I need to pull the list because I don't want to miss any of these sponsors. We had so many great sponsors who the important thing when it comes to sponsors is that they're the ones who help fund the events. They're the ones who give either their product, their time, their services, their resources, their space in order for companies and people to come share and experience that stuff. And it's so important that, you know, we give them a shout out because they provided all of our gear. They provided so much for us. So obviously SecureIT. We have Gunsite Academy, Primary Arms, Mossberg, Grayman Tactical, Chameleon Handbags, Crossbreed Holsters, Alexo Athletica, Stalmy Tactical, Norma Ammunition, Next Belt, Magpul, Premier Body Armor, Legacy Arms International. I'm going through this list because I want to make sure like you guys know who these are. Voodoo Tactical, Walkers, Cryptech. We had such an amazing list of sponsors who provided gear for us to be able to train.
And I'm glad you read that because this list is a list that shows, I think, that women are important to people in the industry.
Yep.
And these are companies who, in their own right and in their own way, are trying to reach more women. And they know that partnering up with groups like this that are putting these training events together, because you know, we've said this a lot. When Emily and I started down this journey, there were not a lot of resources. To my knowledge, there weren't these women events of, hey, let's get together and go shoot. It wasn't a thing. Maybe it was a thing, but I wasn't aware of it because I was not in this industry at all. I know there were groups like A Girl and a Gun, not Shoot Like a Girl. What's the women who shoot? I'm blanking on there are organizations. I don't want to say that there were no women getting together. Yeah. There were these gun clubs that were, starting to pop up all around the country, but they weren't in my area. And I didn't know, social media wasn't a thing back then. It was just starting, and I was definitely not out there searching for and
I think the most besides
gun events for women.
Some of those those organizations, the other side of that was ranges had ladies' night. And that was I wasn't going to gun ranges. I was not shooting. I wasn't going to gun ranges. I wasn't doing any of that. And so it just shows there's a big shift that, now more and more women are wanting to get into this. They're wanting to learn about this. And so I just, applaud Karen and the SecureIT team for seeing where this is headed and the opportunity to step in and provide some amazing training that hopefully as we're going to start putting the content out there so that people can see what we did. Right. And hopefully inspire more of you. Because honestly, I'll be honest, when she was telling us that she was going to do this event, it was going to be in Arizona at the famous Gunsite Academy. That alone is I don't know.
A little intimidating. I didn't know. Yeah, I did not know what to expect because if you don't know Gunsite Academy, which I wasn't very familiar with it, quickly got familiarized with it. The guy who started it is the one who invented the 4 laws of gun safety. So if you
we didn't know until we got there. Right. We're like, whoa,
I don't even know who I thought made that up, but I didn't realize there was a man who came up with that.
Yeah, we just thought it was
and implemented the training, the process. If you've ever taken a formal firearm training course, there's probably some sort of methodology or process that you follow. And the chances are you're probably following what was created at Gunsite. Right. So if you're going to take anything longer than a one-day course, you were probably taking some methods that were, created at Gunsite Academy.
Right. And it's Gunsite's top level elite. They have so many trainers and so many good trainers. And it's just one of those things that it's just when Karen's oh yeah, it's going to be a Gunsite, we're just we
honestly had to trust her because I had not been shooting. Well, I did an Alexo event with a group maybe a few months prior. And that was honestly the first time that I had been out and done real training since I had my kids, which would have been almost 3 years ago, first legit training.
Right. And let's be real and practical here. I mean, we all have lives. We don't have the luxury to sit there and just hit the range every single day or once a week. I mean, as much as we would like to be going, things happen. And so that's the reality of when you're living this lifestyle is you do have to go train. You do have to set that time away and sometimes that doesn't always take priority because kids, life, things that.
Things happen. And so I was so pumped about this, not only because usually when we show up to these events, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get along with every single woman that is in this group. There's just something about this community. You instantly have a bond and
it's unexplainable. I think that's one of the things that we love about the women that we meet in these things. It's you connect and you meet and it's just instant.
Well, the girls the women that were involved with this group, I mean, there were people from other influencers that, you know, that we've followed and have been a part of their lives, but have never actually like officially met, which was like so much fun, down to some women who are in the industry that are selling premier body armor, and they could tell us about the importance of body armor. I mean, like, it was just a really cool group of women. And so I remember talking to you and I was like, I'm a little nervous about this because like I'm showing up, here I am, this is full disclosure. I'm supposed to, you know, I'm obviously a big Second Amendment advocate and a big advocate for women getting training, especially if you're going to conceal carry. And then here I am showing up and I feel a little rusty.
Oh yeah.
Like, how quick am I going to be on the draw? Like, how accurate am I going to be? And we're using a brand new gun. So Mossberg was a big sponsor of the event, and we were going to get to test out for the first time the MC, I always want to call it the MC squared. The MC squared SC is the MC2 SC. So we were going to get our hands on this new subcompact firearm, and they did not tell us before we got there that these firearms, we were going to be using a laser sight on it. So
and none of my firearms, my carry gun, I don't train with the red dot. And
nope. I don't either. And, you know, there's a big difference.
Right. And there were so many things like leading up to that, like you're saying, it's just like, well, I haven't really been shooting. And so like that intimidation factor and like, you know, thinking about like you're with other women who, you know, that shoot as well. And so there's that intimidation of just like, you feel nervous and anxious. And you know, what I think, like when you go to these events, one of the things that you have to remember too is like, everybody is there to learn and to get educated, and everyone, and this isn't just specific to like going to firearms training. This is like anything in life. Everyone is at a different level, and it doesn't matter. If everyone is there for the same reason. And
there were no egos. Like everybody was there. Like you were saying, like it's very personal. Like, okay, if I stunk it up on this round of drills that we were doing, you know, it's up to me to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to better myself? What do I need to do? I'm not looking around to the left or the right. Did I do better than this person? You know, no one is going in. Everyone is there like really to work on their skills and be encouraging. And I remember the first day that we pull up to Gunsite, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, it is.
It's very, very much what you think like a big gun range would be. And we show up and they started announcing the instructors. And I start getting a little like fidgety and I start sweating a little bit because it is people that have been in the industry for 25, 30 years, former military, former Secret Service, former FBI, you name it. They have all these accolades. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. Exactly what I didn't want to take lessons from. Another like old man who is going to yell at me, who is going to come with this military-esque style training. Because I think
too, we've also done trainings and gone to ranges and whatnot that we've had instructors, and we've all had different levels of instructors. And I hate to say this, but sadly, most of the instructors that I have had have not been as nice and have made me honestly feel really crappy about myself, my shooting, and just made me just not want to continue on.
Yes, I think we've all had that experience. I think a lot of women have had that
like
experience.
Just sticks in your brain when you know that you're going to this. And I think like when they introduce the instructors and we're, you know, they're telling us what we're going to do and we walk out to the range for the first time, it's like honest, like anxious jitters. And it's just like, we all, our own issues that we have with ourselves are we amplify those ourselves, you know, and they're way bigger to us and in our heads than anyone else ever sees them. So in a situation like this, you know, like for me, we're walking out there and they're like, this is what you're going to do. And of course, like, you know, like,
and God bless Karen, because she kept saying, just trust me. Like Karen knew. I've seen, she had this little smirk on her face the whole time. Like she knows what what's about to happen. You have to know
her, and her voice is so calming.
Go back and listen to episode 47.
It's just so calming. So it's just like you can't help but to trust that, and then to trust the instructors. And I think we ran through so many different drills, you know, and a lot of it was, you know, starting with, you know, drawing some stationary drills and then definitely moving and shooting.
Because it was set up to be 2 full days.
Yes.
2 full days of shooting. And when I say like, you're going to shoot all day, like you are doing 2 full days of shooting. And like, I really didn't know how I was going to do with that. Cause I'm like, oh, let's go shoot like a few rounds. And, but once the training started, it was so methodical and they had such a process for it that
We wanted more.
You wanted more, and you wanted to like layer. You wanted the next layer, and you wanted the next thing, and then you wanted to wait. Let's not move on yet because
I'm like,
I haven't
wanna
even gotten
master
this drill. Yeah, I haven't gotten this one down yet.
I started really bad here, but like through this drill, like I'm improving, and you want to move on, but I'm like I'm ready to like make sure that I got it like 10, and like it's just
Well, it took me a little bit of time to get used to the red dot.
Yeah.
So when first time you go shooting, if you're using iron sights, you're learning how to line up sights, which I think is extremely important because you're not always going to have a red dot. You need to know how to use both sights in case your red dot goes out or something happens. Like you obviously need to be trained with both, but we were training with the red dot and he kept saying, just trust me, like you're going to be faster and you're going to get more accurate. And all this, I'm like, and it took me several rounds of the drills to just even get comfortable. Plus I was learning a new gun. And what I had learned from my previous training was to get really familiarized with, I went in there wanting to work on trigger, like my trigger control and grip, because Crystal had been one of my instructors at the last training. And what she taught me with my grip and my trigger pull was revolutionizing for my shooting. And I was like, okay, great. Now I'm going to focus on these two things. And these guys pushed us.
Yes.
They pushed us, but in a very encouraging way.
Affirming, encouraging,
yes.
and not making us feel like bad about where our shots were placed or how we were performing, which I think is like
was so good.
So important to help you keep moving on, especially when you know you have that kind of rigorous training going
So
on.
I kept thinking, okay, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to work on trigger and grip. Well, no, they were like, well, now you need to get faster, and now you need to get more accurate, and now you need to get that red dot and pull the trigger. And I'm like, okay, this is like so much to think about. And then they started doing time drills where they
where the target, like an action target was turning,
and you're drawing from concealment. And remember, there were some ladies there that had never shot or maybe shot a couple of times, but never drawn from concealment before.
I think Emily from SecureIT had never shot before, and I believe Chris from SecureIT had been shooting, but not really.
Not pistol, I don't think.
And
from
it was just
I remember,
here you and I are experienced and we are feeling intimidated and anxious. And then you have two people who've never shot coming in. They're like, I don't know how I would have done or felt.
Well, and we say that because it's, I think, indicative of the type of training that you're going to get at Gunsite. If any of you ladies ever want to take from incredibly experienced, get some awesome instruction and training that you're going to walk away feeling so confident, more confident in your skills. Maybe you're not going to go home immediately and carry a gun on your body, but you are starting to carry, you want to get better. Yes,
to get you there.
This is such great foundational shooting. And even more than that, like you will advance very quickly in your shooting, no matter what level you are. If you will just go in there with an open mind and do the instruction and go through the steps the way they say, you will come away from that training feeling more empowered. And that's why I was so excited when we walked away from this. Everybody had such great things to say about all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from the training to the gun. Like, I still need to go pick up my Mossberg. I'm excited to go get that gun. That was a really cool firearm.
Yeah, it was. So like we did 2 days of training. Moving and shooting training, the action targets, moving. And then we also did some, obviously you got to have some fun. We then did some team steel shoot competitions, which you and I were teamed up to shoot 5 standing.
Yes, they were timing us.
Oh my gosh, they're timing us. So we each got to go up once, and they like strapped a GoPro to our head, which was kind of cool. And then they paired us up, and then we shot to try to see who won. And we thought that we were going to win, but we had some issues.
All right, shooters ready. Stand by.
Oh.
Fix it.
Ah.
There it is. There you go. 9.
Yeah,
Like,
we did.
I know-
I had some issues.
Oh,
I
yes,
will
but
admit
I'm
I
very
had the
slow.
issues.
I'm
yeah.
very slow with getting sights on target. Better with the red dot, I will say, and I feel like I'm very like converted to want to start using a red dot more.
Really?
Yeah, it
Okay.
just was. I also think like too, like my eyes get so fatigued, like when we're
Yeah.
shooting, and when I'm shooting iron sights, like having to like I try to shoot with both eyes opens, but like all day long, your eyes get fatigued. So like the red dot was just, I was finding it that I was able to get my shot placement better. I was able to get my sight aligned and placed on target faster once it was acquired. Like I'm still slow acquiring my initial sight, even with the red dot, which you can definitely see in all this footage, which is fine. But like I was hitting the target. So you and I go up. You're going to start, I believe it's 5 steel targets.
So good.
I know. I was feeling good because this was, I want to say, was this the end? This was the second day.
This is the second day. End of the second day. We're wrapping everything up with some fun.
So we're having some fun. And I was going to take like the blue targets and you were going to start with the red. And then whatever if we miss, we'd meet in the middle. So we start off and I go, you go. And then and then out of the corner of my ear, I just hear like oh no. I'm like, what happened?
So yeah, we had been working on clearing malfunctions and drills before that. And of course, I feel like doing tap rack bang is to clear your malfunction. So if your gun doesn't go bang, just tapping the bottom of it, racking one out and letting the next one load is, what they try to get you to do. There were so many other things I was thinking about at that point that like tap rack bang was not on my mind.
You've added in competition, the time, like we're trying to get this done and like it's too many things.
But it was, so basically what had happened, I didn't seat my magazine all the way before I started. So I already had one loaded in the chamber and I was able to get one round off, but then the next round didn't cycle through and it didn't load. And then I was like, trying to pull the trigger, and it took me like a couple of seconds to be like, oh yeah, go. And then we finish it up, but had that not happened, maybe we would have won. I don't know. It was a lot of fun.
I think that was like, that right there, the instructors at that point had noticed that, and they had said, I think to everyone at that point, that is the importance of checking your gear before you start your run. But at the same time, that's making sure you are checking your gear before you start carrying for the day. Things like that those are the types of things that kind of set you up for success.
And you're always going to default to your lowest level of training. Yep. So whatever, if you get in the habit of malfunction, tap rack bang, like it's just a habit for you. You're going to do that in a moment of, competition is, obviously very different if you're in a firefight, but like it's still the adrenaline is high. Right. You want to be accurate. You want to be fast. And then, so you're thinking about that. But if it's just natural muscle memory that you just remember to like clear that malfunction and then get back on target, you're going to do that. And the only way to do that is to practice.
Through training. And like, when you're going to start carrying, or even if you just want to shoot, recreationally or having a gun for home defense, like training is so important, and not just like going to the range and standing in one position and shooting at 5 yards. You have to push yourself. You have to find training that is going to get you into those situations of getting you moving and getting you to run through those motions if there's a malfunction, because those are the things that are most, it may not happen, but if it does happen and you're in a situation where you have to use your gun, you're going to need to get that training done and figured out. So then after we did the steel shoot for fun, we had even more fun. Because Jason from Legacy Arms International brought his like entire collection of personal collection of full auto guns, like we had a grenade launcher. Yeah,
we had a belt fed full auto. What was that? Was that a SCAR?
I think it was a SCAR.
HK, MMP, we had
the Tommy gun.
MP. Yeah, the Tommy gun. So like vintage full autos.
Yeah, like some of the vintage stuff. I was like, you really want us to be shooting those? Shouldn't that stay in your collection?
It was so much fun. they let us just run through.
I will say, for the grenade launcher, I was a little disappointed. I wanted
You wanted to launch a real grenade? I actually thought when they said we were launching our grenade launcher that we would be doing that.
I wanted an explosion.
To our
was
disappointment, we were shooting colored powder.
I know, but I was just kind of like, I was like, pull the trigger. I was like, that's it? Huh. Well, okay.
I mean,
Thank
I guess
you,
all of
but-
us kind of thought we might, but then I started thinking through that
Yeah,
and was wondering what was
obviously.
beyond that berm, and we probably shouldn't be like,
Well,
launching grenades.
What is like
and
10 of us shooting like real grenades, Arizona and whoever else in that area is going to probably be like, there's a war happening.
But had you had a real grenade, you could have shot it out of the grenade launcher that we were shooting, which was still pretty cool.
It was all such a fun time. I mean, I think it was a perfect way to cap off.
Yep.
Cap off serious training that you need, and then of course having some fun.
Yes.
Because I feel like you go to a lot of trainings and it's all serious. You got to do this, and then like it was just all around a great event. And talking with Karen, I know that this is something that she wants to continue to do, and she wants to keep bringing women together. So
yes, we're not just talking about it and being like, haha, you can't come. They're keeping an eye out.
Yes, hopefully they're going to be doing even more of these FIRE events. Make sure you follow SecureIT to know when they're going to be doing any other new events, because if Karen's behind it and she's putting it on, you don't want to miss it, and you want to have and you have an opportunity to take it.
Yes.
I would definitely.
And it doesn't matter your skill level. It doesn't matter if you don't even know anybody else that's going.
Right.
You can show up and just know.
You never know who you're going to meet. You might
Yes.
meet your newest best friend. And even if SecureIT does not put on another event, definitely check out Gunsite Academy. I know that, it may not be a quick trip for some, and it may be costly, but you cannot put a price on that type of training.
I will say that I did find out the price of their so their 5-day course is kind of their gold standard course is what they were saying. And ladies, if you're looking for a fun thing to get your husband for his birthday
Oh my
or
gosh,
anniversary,
he would love that.
He would love it. But like, side note, you're going to love it too.
Yeah.
Like you actually would get so much out of it and have so much fun at this event. And it really wasn't, compared to some of the other trainings that I've been a part of or that I've seen advertised, it's actually very reasonable for what you're doing for 5 full days. And it covers your food, your ammo, everything other than the lodging. There wasn't on-site lodging from what I remember. We stayed off campus, but it wasn't, you can get pretty inexpensive hotels right outside of Gunsite and then go. So with all the instructors that are there, like you can't beat it. Like I thought it was fantastic pricing for that. So definitely check out Gunsite Academy for whatever training they've got coming up, and stay tuned to see what SecureIT's got coming down the pipe as well.
Hopefully they've got some more stuff. And so again, thanks for listening, and be sure to rate us on whatever podcast platform you listen to. That is the best way that you can help support the show. And of course, you can follow myself at Style Me Tactical, Amy at Alexo Athletica, and then of course, you can follow us at Not Your Average Gun Girls.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Not Your Average Gun Girl Show and its related companies, Alexo Athletica LLC and Style Me Tactical LLC, shares information that may potentially have legal implications for its listeners. A reminder that laws vary for each state, and we encourage listeners to seek local legal advice to understand applicable laws. Any items, services, products, and advice mentioned during the Not Your Average Gun Girl Show should be used at your own discretion in accordance with your local and state laws, and you should follow applicable manufacturer's instructions. Not Your Average Gun Girls, Alexo Athletica LLC, and Style Me Tactical LLC cannot be held liable for your actions based on the information shared.